Nervous? She says as you were checking files. A little. Don't worry, I know you can do it. You smiled. Thank you, Annie. Uncle will surely like your deal. Aren't you coming with me? You asked. No, I have some important work. Oh, okay. Appa, I'm going. You walked in living room. He didn't say anything, not even take a glance at you, which makes you a little sad, but you still managed to smile. His behavior is like this from starting because of some incident happened in past. Your mother died while giving you birth. You took a glance at him as he was busy in his phone. Appa, this partnership is very important for us. You said in low voice while looking down. You are doing just a formality as a representative. He's my friend. And you just nodded and walked out. Your paperwork is awesome, Ryan. Looking at the files. Thank you, sir. Just wait a little, he'll be here in no time, then we can start the presentation. He placed the file on the table. He cut it off as his phone rings and he picks up. You can wait, I'll come back. He said and walked off the cabin. Let me drink something, you mumbled to yourself. You took a cold coffee and looking in your phone. One cold coffee, please, he said in his deep and husky voice as you quickly looked up and his gaze was on you, and you stared him without blinking. I know, I'm handsome, right? He said while smiling, and you quickly looked away. Drink your coffee. Well, how have you been? He asked, looking at you, and your heart is already racing faster because of sudden encounter. I'm good. How have you been, Jungkook? Son, you stopped as he raised his brows. I mean Jungkook, you said while correcting. Good, but not very good, he said while taking a sip. You just smiled nervously. When did you come back? You asked and he looked at you and smiled. Just now. You just nodded. Jungkook was your senior in high school. You have a huge crush on him from a long time. Your relationship with him in good in terms as he was your father's best friend's son. So he used to visit your home oftenly, and before going to state he told you that he likes you, which you never replied because you are afraid of being in a long distance relationship. Now you are all nervous after seeing him this after years. Jungkook clapped while looking at you with wide smile, and others also joined as you finished the presentation. You were nervous, still gave your best. Jungkook walked and stand next to you, making your body go numb. This is the best deal so far. I would love to collaborate with Kim's Industries, he said while looking at other board members and then looked at you. I also liked it, and Jungkook's yes was important, so we can finalize the deal. Mr. Han, contract papers, he said to his secretary, and he immediately gave him. Jungkook placed in front of you and extended the pen. We are partners from now, Miss Kim Ryan, he said in his deep husky voice, sending shivers to your body. I'm in Jeon's group and Kim's Industry. You smile nervously and take the pen from his hand and sign the papers. You are sitting nervously, fidgeting your fingers as he stopped you where everyone left. And when you heard door closing sound which made your heartbeat race as you turned, see him walking towards you and smiled at you. And you smiled too. He stand in front of you, leaving no gap between you two. Your heart is pounding so fast, and he tucked a strand of your hair behind your ear and just stare you like he used to do before with that loving gaze. Jungkook, he put his finger on your lips. Let me stare you for a while, he whispered in his husky voice, making you gulp. I missed you so much, he said without breaking the eye contact. Me too, you mumbled unknowingly, making him chuckle. That's why you never tried to contact me, huh? And you just looked down. Everything is changed in these years, but one thing is not changed is you. You are still shy around me, he said, making you blush so hard. Not so really, as you tried to walk away, but he held your wrist. You turned and looked at him as he was staring deep in your soul, and he left your wrist and walked towards you, making you walk backwards. Both of you have a smile plastered on your face, and you stopped. As you touched the wall, he put his one hand beside you and one in his pocket and leaned a little closer, and your heartbeat is already beating faster. You became more beautiful than before, he whispered against your lips, and a red tint appears on your cheeks. You also become handsome more. Jungkook's son Venom, you intentionally said, as you know he hates when you acknowledge him with that. His hand slipped a little, which he was standing with support, and shut his eyes and poked his inner cheek, and you internally chuckled. He scratched his forehead and looked at you. Such a tease you are. We are not in a high school anymore, he explained, and you nodded while pressing your lips together. He took out something from his pocket and opened the box. You just stared at him, and when he held your wrist and looked at you with his doting gaze, and when you suddenly felt a cold metal on your wrist as he made you wear a bracelet without breaking the eye contact, you looked at him amazed. But Jungkook, it's looking amazing as I imagined. He smiled, looking at your wrist, and you looked at him astonished. Don't you like it? Raising brows, and you just smiled and shook your head. It's beautiful. After all your choices are best, you said, and he smiled. Right. My choice is always best, he said as he lifted your chin with his one finger. You both stare at each other for a while, as you both are meeting after years, but it feels like ages. He was holding your one hand and brushing his one thumb on it. There is a silence filling the environment because you both let your eyes talk to each other. The door knocked and you quickly take your hand back, correcting yourself, and he also gets separate and his secretary came in. Sir John is calling, he bowed. Okay, I'm coming. Miss Ryan, we'll talk about the deal later. I hope you understand what I mean. You just nodded while smiling. Look at his straight face. You all having dinner together. Jungkook and his dad and mom also joined you for dinner, and Jungkook is sitting in front of you and you all having gossip. Your sister sitting beside you. How are you doing, Jungkook? He asked in between. I'm good, uncle. I think our partnership will become stronger if we change this into relationship. What say, Kim? Of course, it was already planned. Also, Jungkook already came back. Jungkook looked at you while eating, and you are also smiling widely, and your sister smiled looking at him. I was waiting for this day for so long. Also, I like your daughter, she said while looking at Sohee, and you both are busy staring at each other. What say, Jungkook? Are you ready for marriage? He asked out of blue, and Jungkook choked and you chuckled. What, me? We are talking about your marriage. His face became red and you smiled looking at him. I need to use washroom, excuse me, stuttering, and all of them chuckled. And he got up from the seat and he looked at you. Washroom? He looked as you are about to stand by. So he go and you sit back, and so he got up and he looked at as he is little disappointed, and they walked. You are putting dishes in this sink, and suddenly you felt an arm around your waist and you flinched. He quickly put his palm on your mouth. One hand is wrapped around your waist. Shh, don't, everyone is outside, he whispered, and he slowly removed his hand from your mouth. What are you doing? Someone will come. They are talking about our marriage. What say? Are you ready to become Mrs. John Jungkook? And your heartbeat raised. But suddenly you pushed him and start doing dishes when someone speaks from behind. What are you doing here, Jungkook? She speak, and Jungkook scratched his back. Actually, I came here to drink water, whined and giving me. Nervously, and you glared at him. Oh, you both still didn't change. Wine gave him. You just nodded and glared at him. He smiled mischievously. You extended water glass and he put his hand on yours and holding it tightly. You wide your eyes looking at him. He is intentionally not leaving your hand. Leave my hand, you mouthed, and he shook his head. But you pulled your hand back and that glared at him, and he walked out while chuckling. You know, I'm so happy today, she said while jumping on the bed, and you chuckled. And why? You also climbed on the bed. Because finally the day came which I was waiting for so long, excitedly, and you smiled. Me and Jungkook finally getting engaged, she said with a wide smile, and your smile dropped, and she held your hand. You know how much I love him. It was fixed from this long time. Appa told me. Me and Jungkook will get married after this partnership. Why you never told me about this, only trying to control your emotion? Because I didn't know they were serious about this thing, and tomorrow they will fix our marriage. I'm so excited. You tried to smile, but inside your heart is aching. She was telling you so many things, but you are trying to control your tears, which is making things so hard for you. No, Dad, I can't. I like wine, not Sohee. Are you out of your mind, Jungkook? What are you talking? It is fixed from the starting that you will marry Sohee. And from the starting, I like wine. In fact, we both like each other. Don't create any scene, Jungkook. Tomorrow we will fix your marriage date. Then I won't marry if it's not Ryan. Son, don't say like that. It will create a huge match. So he likes you. And why can't you understand that I like Ryan and she likes me too? Okay, then call her. Let's see what she say. He said angrily, and he took out his phone and dialed your number. But you didn't pick. He dialed again and again, but you didn't pick his call. Done. Now what I say will happen. You are going to marry Sohee, and that's final. I have given my word. You can't force me. Clenching his jaw and furiously walked out. Your tears are dropping constantly as you look at your phone, which is ringing from an hour. You are sitting on the floor, bowling around your knees. Sigh silently as you recall your father's words. I don't want any mess, Ryan. You know what I mean. You took over the company because of Sohee. Now it's your duty to give her happiness. You are looking down. Okay, Appa, you said in low voice. Ryan, how it's looking? She excitedly said. It's looking good, Unni. All smile, and she looked at you. Hey, what happened to you? I'm noticing your face is looking so dull. Dull? No, it's just I'm sleepy because I slept late yesterday, covering with the smile. Are you sure? You give her an assuring smile. Unni, from how long you like Jungkook's name? You asked. Since childhood, when we used to study in same class and used to share seats. It feels like a dream to me. You hugged her. I'm so happy for you. Let's fix engagement date first. I think we should do engagement as soon as possible. Yes, you're right. So he smiled shyly, looking at Jungkook, whose attention is elsewhere. Dad. Yeah, we'll do in this week, glaring at Jungkook. As you entered in living room with some drink, completely avoiding Jungkook, and he sighed heavily in relief, looking at you. You placed drinks on the table and about to go, but Ryan, he called you, and everyone looked at you both as he suddenly walked towards you and held your wrist. Jungkook, he yelled a little. Why weren't you picking up my calls? He said in concerned voice, and you looked at your sister, who is looking at you both surprised. You gently removed his hand. I have some work, I need to go. Excuse me. You were about to go, but he held your wrist tightly. Why are you ignoring me, Ryan? Do you have any idea how much is hurting me? And you looked at your father, who is glaring at you. Ryan, aren't you getting late for your Zoom meeting? He said in between. Yes, Appa. You looked at him, who is looking at you with so much hopes in his eyes. As you tried to free your hand, but he was holding tightly, and you looked at him with pleading eyes, and he wasn't ready to leave your wrist. Jungkook leave her hand, and he completely ignored it, and he just staring you without blinking. Jungkook, please. But his grip more tightened. Jungkook, please, you are hurting me. You painfully said as he realized he leave your wrist. As you looked, there is red fingerprint on your wrist, and he looked at your wrist about to touch, but you hid it behind. Excuse me, you walked from there. He stood there, but then he followed you. Jungkook, Mr. John rolled, and so he sat there froze. She doesn't know what's happening. He might have some work from her, he nervously said. You walked in your room and about to close the door, but he suddenly pushed you inside and locked the door. Jungkook, you couldn't complete as he pinned you on the wall. Why were you doing this, huh? You knew what was happening, so why didn't you stop it? You know, right, I like you. Why aren't you picking up my calls? He furiously said as his eyes turned red and anger and pain clearly visible on his face. You remained silent, adding fuel to his anger as he held your wrist and dragged you to living room. What are you doing? Please leave. You were continuously saying him, but he is in mood to listen, and he make you stand in front of everyone, and your dad and sister looked at you. Ryan and I like each other. Even from the starting, Ryan is the girl I like, Dad. He sternly said, and you looked at your sister in horror. Son, what are you saying? Ryan, tell everyone that you like me too. He said, looking at you, and you remained silent, and tears formed in your eyes already. Ryan, please say that you love me. Please, Ryan. And you still remain silent, a tear escaped from your eyes. Ryan, at least look at me. And you still remain silent. For God's sake, say something, he yelled, making you flinch. Jungkook, say that you love me, he yelled again, but you finally get courage, and you removed his hand gently and looked at him, shook your head. I don't, you said in cold voice, making his heart break into pieces. See, she doesn't. Why are you forcing her? He said in between. He grabbed your shoulder harshly, making you hiss in pain and pulled you closer. Say that, looking in my eyes, getting his seat, and a tear escaped from his eyes too. I don't love you, Mr. John, Jungkook. Coldly, and he chuckled bitterly. Suddenly jerked you and you stumbled. Jungkook, have you gone mad? He shouted. He stared you, and bloodshot in his eyes, and anger was clearly visible in his eyes. He grabbed his car keys and looked at you before going, and walked out furiously, wiping his tears. His parents called him, but he ignored, and tears filled in your eyes looking at his disappearing figure. Do you really don't like him, Ryan? She asked, and you smiled, hiding your tears. I said was true only. You confidently said, and you looked at her sad face, and you hugged her and patted her back. He'll marry you only. I don't have any feelings for him, but you love him unconditionally. But he loves you, Ryan. How's that matter only? I have many things to explore in life. I can't hang in relationship or marriage and all. And I know you will surely make him yours. She broke down in your arms, and your father looking at you both from outside. He was resting his head on steering wheel, and tears continuously coming out from his eyes. And when suddenly someone knocked, making him look at window. What the hell, Jungkook? Are you mad? What are you doing at this late? You know how many times me and uncle called you? He opened the door and come out from the car, and he stumbled, but Jimin held him. Bro, careful. Jungkook looked at him, and his eyes was all red. Why she did this to me? He mumbled with heavy thought. He punched on the car. Why? And suddenly started punching aggressively while shouting why. And Jimin held his hand quickly, and he sat on his knees. Why she said she doesn't love me? Have you thought in Jimin hugged him? You hesitated before knocking the door, but then gathered your courage and knocked the door, and you just heard, come in. He was looking outside, standing back facing you, and you slowly walked inside, didn't say anything. What's the work now? I told you to cancel all my meeting, he said coldly, and your words aren't coming out from your throat. Why aren't you answering? In a little high pitch, and stopped as he turned and you stand there nervously and you are unable to make eye contact with him. He looked at you with his cold face and slowly walked towards you, his every step making your heart beat fast as he stood in front of you. You open your mouth to say something, but he speaks. "Why you played with my feelings?" he said coldly, and you looked at him. And suddenly he cupped your face gently. "Please say that you were lying. You love me, right?" he said softly, and he shook your head. That was true. Your words came out in very low voice. "Liar," he yelled, making you flinch. "Please, Ryan, say that you love me. I will forgive you." But you gently removed his hand. "I don't have any feelings for you." And suddenly he pulled you closer and your face are inches away and his lips resting yours. "You don't feel anything, huh? Don't you feel anything when I come this close to you?" he whispered again, your lips and staring deep in your soul. I don't have any feelings for anyone," you whispered in low voice, and he sadly chuckled and jerked you away as a tear dropped from his eyes. "Anyone? I am bloody anyone to you. I'm nothing special," he said, gritting his teeth. "It was nothing special between us," you said coldly, and he declared at you. "Let's forget everything and focus on our lives and accept our family decisions." And he walked dangerously close to you. "Who gave you the right?" You remained silent. "Who the fuck gave you the right?" he yelled, making you shut your eyes tightly. She loves you. I think you should accept this marriage." His anger was on peak and he punched on the glass, making it break from the corner. "Shut up, just shut up," he yelled, and your eyes widened as you see blood in his hand. Jungkook and about to hold his hand, but he didn't let you. "Don't you dare." Clenching his jaw, and he wiped his tear aggressively. "You saying that you don't love me, right?" You remain silent. He took out his phone and dialed the number. You just standing there and tears dropping from your eyes looking at his condition. "Yes, Dad, I'm ready for this marriage," glaring at you, and you stood there froze. He cut the call and threw his phone somewhere, and his eyes never left your face. "Jungkook, get lost," and he turned his back to you. "Jungkook, please," you tried to approach him. "Can't you hear? I said get lost," he yelled, thrown a vase from the table which broke into pieces. You flinched. But you couldn't see his hand which was bleeding so heavily, and he turned and looked at you still standing. You tried to walk closer to him, but "There are glasses, you idiot," he said in a little high pitch, and you stopped. And then he walked closer to you. "Go away from here before I do something you won't like. Anyway, I did what you wanted. Now just leave," he said calmly yet dangerously. Jungkook, your hand stuttering. He picked up the glass piece from the floor and held it tightly to bleed more. And your eyes widened and his expression still. And you tried to take, but he didn't let you. "Jungkook, are you mad? Leave it." You said right that you don't have any feelings for me. Then why are you crying? You stood there helpless. "Anyway, this pain is nothing compared to the pain you gave me." He threw the glass on the floor and there is all mess. There is nothing, just blood. "Now just get lost and don't show me your fake concern." He clenched his jaw and held your wrist and dragged you, and you were just following him blankly. And he threw you out and closed the door with a loud thud. Jungkook sat on the floor, taking support of the door, and he broke down, but later on he wiped his tears. "I also don't want to be with a girl who can't fight for her love. Be ready, Miss Kim Wyan." His eyes was all red. You turned to walk, but you see Jimin as he walked towards you, and you quickly wiped your tears and about to walk, but he called you. "Wyan." You stopped and said nothing. "Why are you doing this, huh? I didn't expect this from you. He loves you unconditionally and can fight the world for you. You know how hurt he is. Do you have an idea what you did?" Tears rolling down from your eyes. Excuse me, you said and walked. I'm proud of you, he said while patting your head. I really don't understand. Am I your own blood or adopted? Because you never treat me like one. You were a curse for me the day you born. I told your mom to abort you, but she didn't listen to me, and tear dropped from his eyes. So what's my fault? It was better. Then why didn't you kill me when I was born? And he looked at you. Because I promised your mother to take care of you, and I have good taken care of you. She has given you this whole business. Can't you give her this little happiness, right? And by the way, you have come between them, not her. He was your senior, right? When did you both become this close? Only 3 years. And if that's the case, then I don't want anything, not even your business. It means you will be happy by snatching your sister's happiness, who raised you like a mother. You just looked at him in disbelief. All these things have no meaning now. Prepare for the engagement, he said. You're walking slowly because you don't want to go inside and watch your love to getting engaged. And you are in deep in thinking, and suddenly your foot tripped. You almost fall, but someone hold you from front, and your heart stopped for a while because you are about to fall on your face. You quickly stand straight and you see it's Jungkook, who was looking at you with his unreadable expressions. Thank you. You are about to walk, but he held your wrist and pulled you, making you half fall in his arms and holding you with one hand. And he also bent, and you clutch his coat tightly because of his sudden move, and your heart is pounding. You both stared at each other. He was very close to you, and he slowly took a strand of your hair behind your ear, and you got goosebumps. I didn't expect you to come. It's my sister's engagement, so how can I not come? You replied. Even if you don't come, I will pick you from your home, he said in his raspy voice. Can't you behave normal? Normal, raised his brow and chuckled sarcastically. He tightened a grip on your waist, making your eyes widen, and pulled your face closer to his by your nape, and your heart stopped. Look at me, there is nothing in my heart. I'm not affecting even being this close to you, he whispered. I'm normal. Till now I was abnormal, now I'm normal. You can't tolerate me being normal. You will yearn for that, Jungkook. Pressing his lips together and directly staring in your soul. He made you stand straight, and you are just staring him, and you are about to walk, but his bandit got stuck in your dress. You both looked at it and then each other. You got anxious, tried to remove it. He was just staring while doing it, and you tried to your best to remove, but it isn't detaching. You don't know why tears form in your eyes. And he was noticing your every expression. His hand touched yours, and you looked at him. Take your hand back, he sighed, and after a minute he removed it, and you quickly turned to walk. But you are looking beautiful, he said with his still expression, then walked closer, and your heart stopped on his next word. Sister-in-law, he whispered in your ear and walked. You just stood there froze.